In this tutorial, we're going to cover several how-tos, and we'll start by joining. Now, I currently have in my outline mode, or in the preview mode, which is inside of Command Y, we have this shape that we want to join to end up getting a nice full shape of a polygon. Now, what I need to do is join these last two vector points of the first two lines, and then same thing here, and then same thing at the bottom left. The way to do that is to click outside and drag until I hold the first vector point of the upper left line. As you can see, it is highlighted in blue. There's a blue vector point at the end, but the bottom vector point is white. So the one that is blue is the one that's selected. Okay, now I need to do the same thing for the other, but how do I select this vector point without releasing this one, right? Because if I click outside and drag, I'm going to deselect automatically what I had here. To keep your selection, you just need to hit the Shift key, okay? So let me repeat this. Click outside and drag to select that upper vector point. And then using the Shift key, which I'm currently doing, I'm holding the Shift key, click outside and drag to hold the upper vector point of the other facing line. So here you are, using the Shift key, we're able to select both vector points. Now, what you need to do is, obviously you realize that the upper two vector points are the ones selected because they're in blue. To join them, again, as we mentioned on the very first tutorial, it's the first letter of the word. So joining is J, so we just hit Command J. Let me do that. When I hit Command J, my two vector points joined into forming that shape. Now, you can find joining under the menu, but since I use shortcuts so much, I eventually forget where they are. Let's try to find it though. If you lose something or you don't know how to find it, you can just go to Help and then enter whatever you're looking for there. So in this case, join. And obviously I can just hover over what I'm looking for. I'm not going to use the undo one because it's just going to undo the step that I just did. But if I hover over path join, it's actually showing me where joining is. So apparently it's under object and then under path and then join, as you can see here. So that's wonderful. This is how I can find what I'm looking for in case I forgot the shortcut and in case I don't know how to find it. It should be under something, and the help menu will allow me to find that. So wonderful. But I'm going to continue using shortcuts, and I recommend you do the same thing. It makes your work faster. So let me do the same thing for these two vector points now. Now, since we've gotten a feel for how this works, we don't need to go and select each vector point on its own using the Shift key. What we can do is just click outside and drag to select both of these vector points, and again hit Command J. Same thing for this side. Click outside and drag, and you will see the two vector points highlighted in blue. The others are white, which means the blue ones are selected, and hit Command J. And what we end up having is a polygon. Now, if I wish to cover this polygon, let me select it. I'm going to hit Command A to select it, or you can just, with the selection tool, just click on it and you'll select it. By now you should know that pretty well. And let me go back to my normal view by hitting Command Y. And then select a color like yellow, for example. There you go. So that's how we join. Let's work on little other shortcuts. Now on the class website, there's a section, if I show you right here, you know the class website is called bookmarkthis.us. There are several classes I teach, but this one is obviously under CAS 206. However, what I wish to show you in this case is tutorials. So if you go under tutorials, you see that there are several how-tos, some which could interest you, some not. But the ones that could interest you are a list of Adobe Illustrator shortcuts. Again, the path is bookmarkthis.us/tutorials. Um, Under Adobe Illustrator shortcuts are a list of shortcuts that I constantly use, and if you wish to learn the shortcuts, which I recommend, you can find them here or just listen to the videos and I'm mentioning them anyway. So going back to our polygon, what I want to do right now is to cover grouping and ungrouping. So let's say we have this polygon. Let me make it slightly smaller and put it right here. I want to create the same polygon, just duplicate it several times. So I'm just going to select the polygon, hit the Alt key, and create another one, and a third one, and a fourth one. Okay, and then I wish to color the upper two, let's say this red, and leave the bottom two yellow, for example. For whatever reason, I may need to group my elements. I need to move them in one direction, do something specific with them, scale them up, down, whatever it is. Now, currently, this artboard looks quite simple because it's made up of 4 elements only. But eventually, as you work as an artist and so forth, a designer, your work will become more complicated. You'll have so many elements. And eventually, when we cover layers right here, which is the most important thing I find to organize our work, then all of this becomes much easier. But before getting to layers, let's see how we group and ungroup. So what I want to do now is just group these two colors together and the yellows together just to show you how grouping works. Again, I wish to select this first polygon and then using the shift key, using the shift key, select the other one as well. And now I want to group them, and obviously again, as the word makes sense, grouping is the letter G, so I will hit Command G in this case. So now these are grouped, which means if I click on one of them, the other one gets selected with it anyway, right? You see? I just clicked on this first one, and the other one is selected with it. So now whatever I do to one of them, the same thing happens to the other. So perhaps I want to scale down. They both scale down because they're a group. Okay? Same thing here. If I wish to select these two, I can either click outside and drag, or using the shift key, click once on the first and then another time on the second. And then to group them, just hit Command G. And now they move together and so forth. To ungroup, so this is a group, for instance. What if I wish to ungroup because I want this red polygon to join the yellow polygons, for example? To ungroup, I just hit Command Shift G. So Command Shift G, and that will ungroup my polygons or whatever I have in the group. Again, these shortcuts are found under Object. You see group and ungrouping are right here in case you forget the shortcuts. Command G is to group and Command Shift G is to ungroup. The last thing I want to cover in this tutorial is about locking and hiding. Actually, let me not delete those, and I will keep two of these polygons and then delete the others. So how do we lock and how do we hide? The shortcut to hiding is Command 3. That's it, that's what I did. I had my polygon selected and I hit Command 3. And to unhide, I would hit Command Alt 3 and you would see the polygon again. Now, you currently, because you're new at this, you wouldn't really know how this is useful, but honestly, these shortcuts, hiding, unhiding, grouping, and so forth, I constantly use while I'm working on this software. So it's good to learn them and practice a bit from now. So again, select the polygon, hide by hitting Command 3, and then unhide by hitting Command Alt 3. To lock, sometimes you need to lock something because let's say you're doing a certain change to an element, but then you might accidentally touch the other element and it might move while you don't want it to. So the best thing is to lock it so that nothing will happen to it by mistake. So let's say, for example, I'm working on this red polygon and my hand will accidentally touch the yellow one and move it. In order for that not to happen, I can just select the yellow polygon and lock it. And to lock, it's Command 2. Okay, so I just hit Command 2 now. However I touch it to move it, it's locked. It will never ever move unless I unlock it. And to unlock, I hit Command Alt 2. So that's what I'm doing right now, Command Alt 2, and then my polygon will be unlocked. One last thing I want to show you is how to align. So let's say I have these two polygons and I want to align them. I want to have the red centered within the yellow. How do I do that? The first thing I need to do is select them both. So select whatever you wish to align. And then if you see at the top, there are these little aligning options. So what I need to do is look at them. You know, obviously they make sense. If you look at this little icon, it means that it will align things for you on the left. So if I click on it, the polygon, the red one, will align on the left with the yellow one, and so forth. So by looking at these icons, you can tell what you can do. But for this example, I just wanted to show you that I want to put the red polygon within the center of the yellow polygon. So to do that, I'm just going to hit this horizontal align center, which will center both polygons for me vertically. And then the second one, which is right here, vertical align center, which will align the two polygons for me horizontally. So as you can see now, I have this polygon in the very center of the other one.